All right, let's open up a new cold case file. But this one's a little different. The victim? Logic itself. The scene of the crime? A London tube station. And our prime suspect? Well, it might just be a ghost. So today we're going to dig into the evidence piece by piece and see if we can solve one of the internet's most chilling mysteries, the haunting of Bethnal Green Station. You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You're rushing, you're looking at your watch, you know you're just seconds away from missing your train. It's that universal feeling of just pure frustration.
But what if that frustrating delay wasn't bad luck at all? What if it was actually a blessing in disguise? Imagine if missing your train by just a few seconds was the only thing that kept you alive. This isn't some hypothetical question. For one man, this was a terrifying and completely unexplainable reality.
Okay, our investigation starts way back in the early 1900s, deep in London. The subject of our case file is a man named William, just a regular guy commuting on the London Underground. And this is where the first piece of very strange evidence enters the record. So one morning, as William is rushing to catch his train, something physically stops him. He described it as a really distinct cold hand that just grabbed his shoulder, pulling him back for just a second. I mean, what would you do? He immediately spun around, probably annoyed, expecting to see who bumped into him. But there was nobody there. Absolutely no one. The space right behind him was completely empty. The whole thing, the cold touch, him turning around, the confusion, it probably lasted all of 5 seconds. That's it. 5 ticks on a clock. On any other day, you wouldn't even think twice about it. But those 5 seconds were just long enough for him to watch the train doors slide shut and pull away from the station without him. So there he is, left on the platform, probably super annoyed and just totally baffled by what just happened. And here's where the story goes from just being weird to downright chilling. Only 2 minutes after leaving that station, that exact train derailed in a horrific crash. Nearly every single person on board was killed. William was saved by a phantom touch. You might think, okay, that's a 1 in a million coincidence, a really, really lucky fluke. Any investigator would be tempted to just stamp solved on that and close the file. But this file stays open because just 1 month later, at the very same station, it happened again. This time, it wasn't a touch. As William was literally about to step into a train car, he heard a clear whisper right next to his ear. It was just his name, William. He stopped dead in his tracks, looked around, and again, saw no one who could have possibly said it. That tiny pause, that one moment of hesitation, made him miss his spot. And in that exact second, a bomb blast ripped through that part of the train. The very spot where he would have been standing was just gone, obliterated. He'd been saved again. So, 2 impossible escapes, 2 interventions from some kind of unseen force. This brings us to the absolute centerpiece of our investigation, Exhibit A. This is the piece of evidence that turned a personal story into a viral legend, the photograph. So we have to ask the question, right? What on earth was happening to William? Was it just unbelievable luck, some kind of psychic intuition? Or was something or someone deliberately stepping in? For years, this was just a wild story. But then, historians who were researching that first train derailment, they found something. They uncovered a photograph that had been taken on the station platform on the exact day of that first accident. A photo that seems to hold an impossible answer. So when they looked closely at this photograph, they found William there on the platform. But it's who they saw standing directly behind him that completely blows this case wide open. There, with a hand that looks like it's reaching for William's shoulder, is a figure of a man dressed in an old Victorian suit. Now get this, according to station records, a worker wearing that same kind of suit had died in an accident at that very spot 40 years earlier. Now a photograph like that is pretty stunning, but in any good investigation, you always look for corroborating witnesses. And what's wild is that the story doesn't end in the past. It seems like the case is still very much open. Just look at the pattern here. It's uncanny. On the left, you have William's reports from over 100 years ago, feeling a cold hand, hearing whispers. And then you look at the right. These are reports from current staff members at Bethnal Green Station. They are reporting the exact
same things. What this means is that William's story isn't just some old ghost story. It seems to be an ongoing phenomenon. Even today, station workers have said they've felt that same cool touch, often stopping them from accidentally stepping onto the tracks during a delay or when a train is coming in quietly. It's like whatever was there for William is still there.
So, after looking at all the evidence, we have the eyewitness testimony from William, we have that incredible photograph, and we have modern-day accounts. We've reached our closing arguments. What are we supposed to make of the Phantom of Bethnal Green? So, what is it? Is this just one of the UK's most famous ghost stories, a legend built on coincidence and a creepy old photo? Or could it be something more? A guardian angel, maybe? A spirit tied to that specific place, protecting people who pass through? Or is it something else, something we don't even have a word for?
And that leaves us with one final haunting question. After weighing all the evidence, you have to wonder, is this just a story about a ghost? Or could the station itself, in some way we can't understand, actually be protecting its passengers? The case file is open. The verdict? Well, that's up to you.